if it ever happens. She's given up. I'm just kidding. But I can't do anything else. I'm so focused on washing the dishes. It's like, she says, can't you hear that Baruch Hashaya, my youngest child, is crying? I can't hear it. There's nothing in my life but the dishes at the time. So once we develop Yesod, we can then juggle a few aspects of life or a personality simultaneously at the same time. Okay, so that's the level of the advanced, the expert. So Netzach, victory, struggle, that is the beginner who's still breaking his teeth, trying very hard to land the trick. He can't do it yet. And once he lands it, he's like, did you see that? I landed it. He's the one who makes the most noise. You see, some people land the best tricks and they just ride off. It's like nonchalantly, like so casually, like nothing ever happened, and everyone else is going, now, how did they do that? They take it for granted. They don't even realize. This guy, he lands a very basic trick, and he becomes ecstatic. But why? Because he waged war in order to land it. He fell so many times. He thought that he's never going to land it. You know, once you try a trick 50, 60, 100, 500 times, you eventually become despondent. You despair and you go, this trick wasn't made for me. Maybe I wasn't made for the trick. Whichever. But you say it's never going to happen. And when you land it, it's like it's like the light after the dark. You know, suddenly you appreciate it so much and you jump for joy. That's Netzach. But after that, that's just the beginning. What are you getting so excited about? That's the beginning of the process. The next step is to again go Chochmah, Binah, apply, Da'at, and try it and with devotion. Give yourself over to the trick. Keep focusing on it and repeating it and developing your skill level, your ability. That's hard. And eventually, God provides us with that ability to, what we call introject, to internalize that ability, that skill. It becomes us. We fully bond with it. We become advanced, experts in the field or at what we're doing. So, when it comes to skateboarding, one can apply all these mystical concepts to becoming a better skateboarder. And this applies even to the audience. You can sit, watch skateboarding, and observe at the level of Chochmah. If you want to take it home with you, know what you just saw or what you heard, don't be happy with that first impression where you're like, oh yeah, I get what he's saying, I understand, you know. Don't fool yourself. It's like reading really quickly where you can't remember anything after you finish reading because you didn't take the time to analyze it, articulate it, and then comes the exam and you're like, oh my goodness, I thought I had it all. But it's all one big cholent. People eat cholent on Shabbos, right? It's like a mixture of potatoes and goulash and pumpkin, all sorts of things all just combined together and put on the stove for about 18 hours. You eat it Shabbos by day. We refer to something as cholent when it's a cacophony. It's just a confusion of things. You don't want to experience reality like cholent. You can eat cholent, fine, but don't experience reality like that. Take the time, be patient enough to make sense of it analytically, consciously. Then you can take it home and share it with other people. And you can then even apply it in your own personal life and experience. Okay? So I was told there are going to be more skateboarders. How many skateboarders are there here? Okay, how many? Alright, so we've come and skate. You have your boards? Okay, let's do it. Okay, so we'll try to apply these principles of running and returning, which interestingly enough is also visible in the actual motion of skateboarding on a vertical ramp where you're constantly running and returning like the chayot, like these angels. And we have to be careful with our imagination when trying new tricks, not to go beyond the probable, and definitely don't go beyond the possible, because that's where you land on your back. Perhaps in hospital. Chas v'shalom. God forbid. And we can also focus on shifting from a state of chokhmah, bina, then da'at, and then cycling in that way through the three functional levels of the beginner, the struggle, the intermediate, surrender and devotion, and then eventually coming to foundation, the advanced. Okay. So I'm actually going to try to learn a new trick today, and I'll probably fall 20, 30, 40 times and get a few scratches, but that's part of the war. That's the netzach. That's the way you learn in skateboarding. If you don't want to hurt yourself, do not skateboard. Okay? Period. I run a skateboarding club for kids. Every second Sunday I take a group of kids out. It's from disadvantaged families who live in government housing, whose mothers are on heroin, that sort of thing. Non-Jewish kids, mostly. And I take them on adventures to all different skate parks around Victoria. They absolutely love it because they never get out of their little ghetto where they live. And I tell the parents, if your kid comes home without a tooth, don't sue me. Technically, I should sign contracts. I'm a bit negligent in that area. I have kids who injure themselves every time. And when I said tooth, I actually drew on a real example. A very well-to-do family actually wanted their kid to join the club. And in the first session, this kid falls over, knocks out his tooth. And I'm thinking to myself, what are his parents going to do to me? They were really nice. They gave him a birthday present, a new tooth. He was happy, they were happy, and I was definitely happy that they understood it. But skateboarding is falling, skateboarding, like that. They go hand in hand. So I'll actually try, and I'll encourage other skaters to try to, after they warm up, to try to learn a new trick. And we'll see if we can go